Welcome back, folks, to the Membership Machine Show. This is episode 105. In this episode, we're going to be talking about all the best AI tools and services that can help you with your social media content to promote your membership and community website in 2025. It's an important subject. I've also got some great news. I've got Nicole back. She has agreed to be my co-host on a trial period, but hopefully we can persuade her to stay on. Hopefully she won't get too fed up with my crazy antics. But other co-hosts have stayed with me for a number of years, so I've got a reasonable track record. So, Nicole, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience and also tell the audience quickly some of the things you can do for them?
Oh, yeah, sure. So thanks for having me, first of all. I think this will be really fun. I haven't had a podcast in a while. So my name is Nicole Ouellette. I own a marketing company called Breaking Even Communications, and we mainly work with small businesses and nonprofits on their marketing strategy and implementations. That could be social media, that could be blogging, that could be email newsletters or texting services, or any number of other solutions. We really tailor it to fit the client. And I also own 2 co-working spaces, and I have a trending video service called Trend to Send, where I track trends across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, find a trend that's going to work for small businesses, and send it out via text message. Although this is all about to change because the TikTok ban just went through, so now I have to refigure out kind of how this is going to work. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, and I'm excited to be here and talking about membership communities. I have a physical membership community in my co-working space, but also I've run and managed a variety of them over the years. So thanks for having me, Jonathan. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, it should be great fun. Nicole's got a ton of experience in social media, running Facebook and other social media, paid advertising campaigns. Plus, she's got a great deal of knowledge in the WordPress space. So I thought she would bring a great resource to you, and we have a bit of fun as well. But before we go into all the AI tools that we've got listed, I've got a message from one of our major sponsors. We will be back in a few moments.
Hi there, e-commerce store owner. At Omnisend, we help more than 100,000 e-commerce customers just like you sell their products. We're an all-in-one email and SMS marketing platform that helps you reach your customers, grow your audience, and increase sales. In fact, our customers have seen incredible results with Omnisend, averaging $72 in revenue for every single dollar spent. And if you ever have a question, our award-winning customer support team is available 24/7 every single day. That's one of the reasons we have more than 6,000 glowing reviews and ratings all across the web. So, get started with Omnisend today and start growing your business with better email and SMS marketing.
We're coming back, folks. I also want to point out we've got a free resource on the WP-Tonic website, and that's a created list of all the best WordPress plugins and services, plus some great special offers from the sponsors. You can get all these goodies to help you build your membership website on WordPress, and I think you should. You can get all these goodies by going over to wp-tonic.com/deals. wp-tonic.com/deals. Nico, you're not typing. You're supposed to go there as I speak.
I memorized it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
It's a memorable URL. I've got a good brain. I've got it in my head.
Well, that's the right answer. That was the answer I was looking for, Nico. So let's go straight into it. So, Nico, we've got 2 lists. What's number 1 on your list?
Well, obviously, I've been using ChatGPT since it came out, but as these other tools have come out, like Claude and Gemini, I've also tried those. But honestly, ChatGPT just works really well for me, and I use the free version of the service. Actually, ChatGPT is what helped me name my trending service, because I was looking for a short name for it, but I was looking for available.coms, and it helped me. I was asking for a short, I forget exactly what the prompt I put in was, but it suggested Trend to Send, and it was available for the .com, and it was available across social media. So ChatGPT, the free version, has not steered me. Well, it steered me wrong a few times, but it's great for, also writing responses to awkward emails and things. What about you? What's number one on your list?
Right. I was tempted to reply to that last comment you came. I'm not going to. Grammarly. Obviously, I have a bit of dyslexia. Grammarly is a great tool. I tend to rely on it, but you can totally rewrite some of my emails. But if I can bother to re-edit them afterwards, it's okay, and it's not a bad price. It's $30 per month if you go month to month, but you can get it for a little bit over $100 if you pay the annual plan. And I just pay it, and it comes with some other tools, a good check for plagiarism tool that works reasonably well. But the main thing I have it is the spell checker and the grammar checker. So for your social media, you don't want, it's not the end of the world, but you don't want consistent grammar and spelling mistakes all over your social media, do you?
Well, and I had the free version of Grammarly for a while, and it gives you a certain amount free every day, and then you run out. So what I found was I was using them sparingly. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to save the grammar suggestion for later on. And I realized that was totally stupid. So I finally paid for it. And now it gives me unlimited suggestions, which I appreciate. I think it's totally worth paying for. And I used to be a copy editor, so I'm pretty good about not having typos, but it does catch stuff that, and it phrases it less awkwardly. So I can appreciate that.
So what's your next one?
My next one. Well, I honestly I sent Jonathan ahead of this. We were planning this episode, and I sent him this whole long paragraph about basically AI and how, it's training off of artists' work. And I feel kind of gross about that. But what I mainly use it for is when I'm editing images in Canva, which is what I use when I'm interfacing with clients, because we can make public view links that they can just look at and stuff like that. But it has a magic erase feature. So if you take a picture of a building and then there's this ugly telephone pole in front of it, you can kind of erase it in there. And another thing I've used it to do is sometimes you take this really great image, but it needs to be square. But the way that the image was taken, it's not quite wide enough to be a square. Like I took this great picture of this woman. It was at a lobster restaurant, a lobster shack on the coast of Maine. And so she's standing in front of a fence, holding this lobster. It was a great picture. The problem was the fence didn't extend far enough to be a square picture. So I used the magic, I think it's magic wand, I think is what they call it, but it generates and fills a space for you. So it kind of copied the fence background and sort of extended it into the square version. So I use Canva's image AI tools a fair bit to take images that I've taken or clients have taken and just make them a little better.
Yeah. I've got Canva. I use it almost every day. It's a great value proposition. It's about 120 a year. If you pay for the pro, the free is not too limiting, but I pay for the pro, and it's like Grammarly. I just pay it. I have got some minor criticisms of it. I think in UX organization, the interface is messy. There are some, if you're not utilizing feature regularly, you normally have to go on YouTube and watch a training video to work out. And there's some elements to the interface, being it's a reasonably mature app service. I think the UX design. Also, when it comes to the AI, they are adding more AI features and tools and services, but some of them I think are a bit janky, to be quite truthful. But the pure power and the value proposition that you get from it, it's unquestionable, and it's a no-brainer to buy a Canva annual subscription, and it will really help with your social media. Am I being a bit cruel to Canva?
Well, I mean, I think honestly, as somebody who taught myself Photoshop and felt like I feel like I know 5% of what Photoshop can do, even after using it for almost 20 years. And it also is really like, you open it up right on your computer, and then you go make a coffee and make your lunch, and then come back and it's might have finished opening up. I will say the Canva interface on mobile, like I just wouldn't use it, like, because of the way the menus have to be. It's very chaotic as a mobile app. I would just use it on a desktop personally. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's like all these great like image editing tools, and I think part of it is finding something that works well for you, and whether that's based on your computer or web based, and whether you have to collaborate with other people might kind of factor into the decision too of what you pick.
Right. On to one of my picks, and that's PictoChart. PictoChart. I don't know where to get his name.
Wait, how do you spell? Yeah, I think you should spell it for people who are like listening. And
you do think so? PictoChart. I want to point out all the links and products will be listed on the WP-Tonic website in the episode show notes. So don't worry, it will be all there. And normally this episode goes live on Tuesday, and normally I have all the show notes available at the time that it's on iTunes and Spotify and whatever podcast player that you are utilizing. I've tried quite a few of these products that basically what they help with, folks, is to produce infographics, and good infographics can really spice up a blog post, and I spew out a tremendous amount of content every week. I wouldn't say this is perfect, but none of the tools that I've tried have been perfect. But they offer a free account, and you can knock out about 2 to 3 infographics on the free account per month. And then the paid account is $29 for the pro version, and the business version is $49. So it's not mega money. And you put a prompt in, and it does a reasonable job, and you can edit it. I'm not saying that you can just put a prompt in and it will spew out a perfect infographic that you can just, but I've used it a bit, and it's between it reduces the work by 50 to 70%. And obviously that's what I mean is you going into Canva and finding a template, and it will reduce the work that even what Canva reduces for you. So I would say have a look at it. It's got a really good free level, which allows you to try it out and see if it could help you. What do you reckon, Nicole?
Well, I'm wondering, because I actually didn't have a chance to test it out yet.
What? You mean when I sent my links to you, you didn't instantaneously spend at least 3 hours of your life wasting your time, Nicole?
Well, let's just say between the Meta and the TikTok stuff this week, I've been a little bit busy keeping up with where everything is going to fall in terms of how my marketing company is going to deal with all that. But I'm wondering, for this infographic generator, it sounds like you can type in a prompt. Can you give it like a spreadsheet of data or something like that and have it work with it? Or do you mostly have to kind of like narratively tell it the kind of things that you'd like it to work on?
Sorry, I went blank there.
Oh yeah, no. So for an infographic, right? Because it's using a lot of data to like. What I'm wondering is if it works with spreadsheets too, or is it like you kind of type in the narrative of what you're kind of looking for the infographic?
You can do both. The more info, the more info you give it, the more less editing. Awesome. Some of these platforms, doesn't matter how much extra information, actually it confuses them. There's a sweet point. It seems reasonably sophisticated. You do have to edit them. I haven't had one that it spewed out and I thought I didn't have to go in and improve it. You can swap out, the editor's pretty good. You can swap out images with other ones that come from your own sources. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. Let's go on to one of your choices, because you jumped on my list. You had number 2, AI and my social media scheduling apps. So I was going to ask you, when it comes to scheduling, are there any apps that you're utilizing on a regular basis to do all your scheduling of social media?
Well, I have tried all the tools over the years, right? I've been doing this for a long time. And the one that I'm testing out right now is called Social Pilot. And what's interesting about it is I mean, no matter what tool you pick, they're going to have an AI kind of built into it. But part of what it does is it allows you to, like all social media schedulers, you put in a piece of content. Like, let's say I put in a short video, and I could customize the short video for, Instagram versus, YouTube versus, in terms of I could change the caption, I could change the thumbnail and all that. But it has this area for the YouTube one where it's like generate a YouTube title. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting because, I'm kind of long-winded. So, and it like has come up with
you're not
titles for
long-winded,
me.
not compared to me.
Well, it's I like I said, and it's generated these really interesting titles that I would have never thought of before. So I would say if you have a tool that you like, they're probably coming out with an AI, or they're probably already have an AI like built in that they're improving. And I would test that out, because if you're already comfortable like social media scheduling in a certain tool, they might have ways of, rewriting the description, or finding you hashtags, or, writing a compelling title for one platform versus another, that sort of thing. So I think we're going to see some interesting use cases, not just for these kind of, general AI tools that you open up and say, oh, I'm going to produce an infographic, or I'm going to, come up with, an outline or some ideas for a podcast or something, but it's going to be built into the tools that we're kind of already using. So we might as well see if they work well for us. So yeah, like I said, the YouTube title generator, I was like, oh, I would have never come up with this stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's a great name for the service, actually. There we go. On to my next one, which is I've got the main one, and then I've got a secondary recommendation as well. Word Hero. What does Word Hero do? Basically, I got it on AppZoomer. I invested a fair bit of money in a number of AI tools. Some of them were real dogs. I think if you get it on a special offer, I think Word Hero is probably, and depending on your case, it could be worthwhile. I wouldn't recommend it at its normal retail price. But what does it do? Basically, right, if you're using prompts, putting prompts in all day, that gets a bit tiring. So this produces a very large library of pre-developed prompts that have been optimized, and it's using one of the big language libraries out there, so it generates as well, but it just saves you a ton of time. And what it writes isn't the best, but isn't terrible either compared to some of the other tools that I use. But it's a big time saver for me, because having to re-put in a prompts, there's a bit of overlap with some of the other tools that I use, but I still use it almost every day. But like I say, is it worth the normal price? Probably isn't, because the normal price, if you're paying month to month, is $49, or Infinity, which is $99 a month. And I definitely don't think it's worth $99 a month. Now, another one that one of my other co-hosts for my other podcast, he put it on my radar, and it was one of the guests on my other podcast who has developed this, and it's called Blogger. Yeah, I think it's Blogger. Now, it does something very similar to Word Hero, provide a library of pre-designed prompts in a visual interface, but it also does blogging as well. I've got more powerful blogging AI tools that I've invested in. But what the great thing is, they got a pretty good free program with Blogger, and then they got an unlimited plan for just $29.99. And Kirk, my other co-host, he says he hits it heavily almost every and he writes a fair few blogs, and they never asked any additional money from him. So it looks reasonably unlimited, because, folks, when a company says unlimited, it normally means until they get fed up with the amount of usage you're doing, and then it isn't unlimited. But so that's a good choice, because the price is more realistic, $29.99. So they're two things that provide this library of pre-designed prompts in a visual interface. What do you reckon, Nicole?
No, I think that's it's funny when you were saying like, oh, I bought something off AppSumo. I feel like that reminded me of something I bought off AppSumo, which is, I don't know if I would consider it AI, but and I also wouldn't pay full price for it. But it's called Relay That. And what it does is, like, you make one graphic and then you can have it dynamically create other graphics that are resized. So, like, I had a client who was running some display ads on Google. And if you've never run a display ad in Google AdWords, it's like, there's like 20 different sizes. There's like skyscrapers and there's like whatever. And so I was able to generate the creative once they had sort of a look that they wanted. I was able to kind of run it through a tool and basically make 20 versions of it in 20 different aspect ratios. Did I have to move the logo on some of them? And did I have to like rework it a little bit? Yes, but it saved me hours of making, 20 different image sizes that were going to be display ads. So I also wouldn't pay I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it was like a one-time fee. And I think it gave me like 5 workspaces, so I can upload like my logos and my brand colors and my fonts and all that, for 5 different clients, and I can use that to generate the images. So just if you're making a lot of images and have to do them in a bunch of different aspect ratios, and you just don't want to hit copy, resize, and Canva 20 times, like, it's nice.
Well, I've got some tools to help you in that as well that we're going to be talking about.
Ooh.
On to your next one, which was Descript. What you got? What's that?
Descript.com. Okay, this is like, like your co-host, who uses the blogging one. I use this one not quite every day, but pretty close. It's a video editor, but it's text based. So you put your video in and it transcribes your video. And like, let's say I wanted to cut a section of this podcast. What I do is I just find it in the transcript, highlight the words, hit delete, and it's gone from the video. So it's really great at editing long form content. You can also search for things like filler words. So apparently when I talk by myself, I say right a lot.
Yeah, right.
So
right, Nicole. Right. Yeah, sure. Right, Nicole.
So I can have it find all instances of the word right and have it just delete them all from the entire transcript. In some cases, it'll find over 100 of them, which horrifies me. But yeah, the other thing that it does, though, is it has this AI, I think it's called an overlord or something. They call it something funny, but what you can do is you could take a long form video like this, and you can say, cut this into clips, and you can say the kind of clips that you want it to do. So, pick clips where the man is laughing with the woman, or, pick clips that seem controversial. You could kind of give it like a little bit of editorial guidance on what clips that it picks and how many that you want it to generate. So if you wanted to cut up, if you have a podcast or some kind of long form video that you want to cut up into short segments, that could be a nice tool for you. But what I do recommend doing, if you're a control freak like me, is, let's say that you wanted 60-second clips to actually work with. I say, have it give you 2-minute clips. And that way, if it cuts it in an awkward spot, or if you want to like massage it a little bit, it's giving you some room in either direction to do that by giving you kind of more content. Because once it cuts it off, it like doesn't let you say, oh, can I add this other sentence in? No, it already cut it off. So I really like Descript a lot for my YouTube video editing purposes.
I've used it a little bit. My other co-host, it was one of his choices when we had a session where we were talking about AI tools that can help you as a freelancer or small agency owner. Mm-hmm. So which price level? Because you've got Hobbyist at $19. These are month-to-month prices.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the one I use.
Oh, you've got the Hobbyist. And they've got all their plans aren't ridiculous. They've got Hobbyist at $19, Creator at $35, and Business at $50. So they're not. It's not ridiculously priced.
And there is a free version of it, I think, or at least I should have double checked that. There used to be that it gives you 2 hours of transcription a month for free.
Might
But the
still be
AI
going.
tools are part of their paid plans.
I think they've buried that somewhere, but it
Oh,
might be
got
still
it.
there. I didn't see it.
Oh, that's too
Right.
bad. Yep. Okay. It was fun while it lasted. But the AI tools would be a paid part of their service anyway. And it's like $20 a month, which is doable.
I've got one photo room. This works really well with Canva because Canva's got some really great photo editing, graphic editing tools, but it's also got some limitations compared to Photoshop, like what Nico said. I regularly only use 20% of it. It's such a beast and it's such a mess of an interface. But there are some limitation with Canva. So Photo Room, it's got some really powerful tools in it. Its background remover is actually Canva's one is pretty impressive, but actually Photos Room background remover and selecting different items in the photo and removing them is pretty impressive. One of the other tools, and it's got a number of them that really works well, is that if a client gives you a low resolution photo and that's all they've got, and they want it to be used as the hero image on the website, this will take it, analyze it utilizing AI, and then grow the image by magic. And
cool.
It's not perfect, perfect. But being you're going to use it as a background, or it's just going to be used for the web, it ain't going to be utilized for print. It does a pretty amazing job, actually. It's got me out because, we can't find the originals.
Yeah, or like we really or the boss sent us this photo and it's like this. Yeah. And it's the boss's photo. So you're not going to say, oh, that's not,
No,
we take it.
And they've got a free level where you can try it out. And then they've got the pro level, which is around $12.99 a month. So it ain't going to bankrupt you. And it saved me a ton of time. And it does some of the other things about producing social media. Obviously, Canva does that, different sizes for different resolute layouts on different social media platforms, which are the pain of my life, the bane of my life. It does a good job helping there. So it's got a number of tools in there. So what do you think of Photo Room, Nicole?
I think that sounds great because I literally have the problem sometimes where I have this photo that I sort of have to use, but it's not great. So I'm going to use it just for that purpose alone. I think that's
have a look at it.
Great. Yeah.
Right. I think it's time for us to go for our break. We've had a gorge of AI tools. If you didn't get some value from this first half, God help you, because I think we have slapped down our value on the table, folks. Nicole's been doing a great job. I've been doing my normal bad job.
Oh, come on.
There we go. Where's the violins? So we will be back for the second half where we got some more AI tools. We will be back in a few moments, folks.
Tired of hosting providers that can't handle high traffic loads? Conversio is here to help. Our platform can handle any amount of traffic, all without slowing down or crashing. With immediate Slack support, performance optimization, and a team that thrives on resolving technical challenges, your e-commerce business is in safe hands. Learn more about Conversio at conversio.com.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Lifter LMS, the leading learning management system solution for WordPress. If you or your client are creating any kind of online course, training-based membership website, or any type of e-learning project, Lifter LMS is the most secure, stable, well-supported solution on the market. Go to lifterlms.com and save 20% at checkout with coupon code podcast20. That's podcast20. Enjoy the rest of your show.
They're coming back. Nicole's managed to control me. And
How am I doing that?
you said, I'm just teasing. But before we go into the second half, I want to point out we've got a great free resource for you, those that are looking to build your membership or community website in 2025. And that's the Membership Machine Show Facebook group. It's a total free resource. It's got a load of WordPress, plus people like you trying to build a membership website or community site. It's a great resource. I try and post something every 1 or 2 days on it. And if you've got any questions about the show or you need any kind of quick advice, it's a great resource. So go over there and join us on the Membership Machine Show Facebook group. On to the next one, because you've run out, haven't you? You're a naughty girl. You only provided 4, didn't you? Or is
Yeah. I mean, I will say something that I think that is underappreciated about AI, whatever general AI tool that you use, whether it's ChatGPT or something else, is you can have the AI ask you questions, which I think a lot of people don't understand about that. So I had a prospective client and he was kind of scattered with what he wanted.
Oh, that never happens. That never
I know,
happens.
right? So I asked him for an RFP and I suggested that he use, a tool like ChatGPT or similar to say, okay, you're, a business consultant, you're helping me write an RFP for a new, marketing plan for my small business. I want you to ask me like questions about my business. And what I got back a day later was honestly like he had marketing goals, of what he wanted and why he wanted it. He had target audience information. He had all kinds of stuff that was so useful. And I was like, oh, I should have more people do this when they don't quite know what they want, rather than having me sit there having to try to sell them something, which I mean, I'm not really trying to do, but I'm sure they feel like I'm trying to do. But
no, I think that's very insightful. Actually, what we're going to do is going to blow through. I've got a number of other tools. We're going to blow through them, and then maybe we've got a bit of time at the end of the show. I'm going to ask Nicole for some insights about what can be an effective strategy for using social media. And we're probably. You keep touching your mic, Nicole. Is it being a bit naughty?
No. My cat has come in the room, and he is
I'll get the cat on if we have animals on if we have animals
okay, I was
on the
trying
show,
to keep
the ratings, little tip for your videos, Nicole, you just have your cat as your co-host and your ratings, because if I wanted to make money, I just do cat videos because I give up on all this.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But he was on my desk for the last about 10 minutes, and then he decided to go across the room and start knocking stuff off of a shelf. So rather than hearing an occasional bang, I've just been hitting mute.
Right.
But he's being naughty. I'm not getting up to trouble this particular time. But
right. Because I have made some co-hosts go to sleep actually, but there we go. On to the next onto the next one, Claude. Now, Claude is one of these large language plans, models, and one of the professional level tools I use is Koala, which is my AI writer, Koala Bear, and Koala. And there's a number, there's like SEO writer, there's a couple others, but I use Koala. It's not one of the cheaper ones, but and it gives me a choice of which language models that I can choose from. And I found Claude, when it comes to long form writing, Claude, when I put it into my AI detection tools and then use a humanizer, yes, I'm pretty hardcore, folks. Claude definitely seems to provide the best long form written content at the present moment. and it's $20 a month. So I do, even though I'm using professionals, I do, and it comes with a reasonably good free account. And I do cough up my $20 because I find it really useful. And it does all the things that Nicole just said about her new client. It really answers your questions and gives you layouts, planning layouts. It's pretty useful. So Claude, have you played around with Claude at
I
all?
played with Claude. I played with Gemini. Yeah, I think that there's a tool for everyone. You know what I mean? And like I said, what I appreciate is that these tools can kind of act as a nice in between, in particular if you're working with a client or something, rather than you're both kind of can talk to the tool together. It kind of is like a little intermediary between some people sometimes. But yeah, no, I like Claude. He's a nice guy.
All right. On to the next one. Photo. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the best browser-based photo editor, in my opinion. If you need something that's more powerful than Canva, and Photo Room has some really great tools, like I said, like the image expander. But if you're looking for something that's in between Canva and Photoshop, basically Photo, I found it to be, for what it provides in a cloud-based, browser-based interface, it is, in my opinion, a great tool, photo editor, for those in between. You might not need it, but on the other hand, it's about $3 per month, or $7.50 per month for the Pro plan, the Pro Plus plan. I think the Pro plan is most people would want, especially if you've got one of the other tools like Canva, or you've got Photo Room. Yeah, that's what I've got to say about it. Go and have a look at it, because but it's a ton of power in the web browser for editing images and that. Any thoughts, Nico?
Like I just, and after you work with some of these tools, right? Some of these either free tools or web-based stuff, you start, and as you've kind of we're talking about, you sort of run into things like, oh, I wish it did this, I wish it did that. So sometimes I think it is important to sort of reevaluate, what tools you're using and see if you can find something better. And something that I've been sort of trying to figure out is like, okay, how do I make this efficiently, but also I would like some like more professional like color grading and things like that. Like how in Photoshop you can get one of those, 15% gray squares. And when you start doing your photography, you can have the person like hold it up. And then in Photoshop, you can basically, sample the color, set it to that, and then it fixes the color
Some
for the
strong
whole image.
There's some real limitations with Canva, but I'm not knocking Canva because for what you get, for what you're paying, you're getting a bargain even now with Canva. There's no question it's a bargain. But if you're doing a lot, and that's one of the things I want to discuss with you at the end of the show, is you're going to be producing a lot of stuff. And if you're doing it on your own, plus you're trying to run your membership website and build the courses and that, you've got to find methodologies and tools that enable you to produce social media content. And it's a lot of it is visual video in a way that reduces the amount of time you're spending on it, because you won't have any time to sleep otherwise, or have any kind of personal life or anything. On to the next one. I struggle with these names. Recraft. What Recraft does is it produces really, I hate the term, but I'm going to use it, images that pop. Don't you love that when you got a client that says it doesn't pop, and you just want to go get a gun and shoot yourself? But that's what it does. It really produces very visually pleasing, stunning images where you just put in the prompts, and it does a pretty good job. I know Twitter X has a product if you pay the Pro, which I do, but that does a similar thing. I can't remember its name, but and they've got a free program, and I generally use the free, and it's a bit like Photo. I generally use the free, but if I got some need, I just go month to month and I cough up the $3, right? But it does a pretty good job of producing really quite stunning imaging that works really well in social media, in my opinion. And they've got the free program. The next one, basic, it's $10, and then they've got advanced, $27, and then they've got Pro, $49. I think basic or advanced, if you're wanting to produce a lot of imaging that can use the term again, pop. Have a look at this, because I found it, it saved me a ton of time in really spending an hour or something, because I have got a background in graphic design. I did my MA in graphic design. Yes, Nicole,
Nice.
I did it at the London School of Print and Design.
Whoa,
yeah.
fancy.
Yes. So it's an old trade school in London. It got absorbed by the University at Minster. Yeah, so it does a really good job in producing more stunning images that really is appealing to the eye.
Is that what you use to make the thumbnails for the podcast?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No, there's nothing appealing. It's not bad though, is it?
No. That's why I was wondering if you used it to do the podcast.
No, that was just Canva.
Oh, okay, nice.
Right. On to the next one, but have a look at it, because trying to produce images that really because most of these social media platforms, I think you would agree, Nico, are disruptive platforms. Basically, you've got the feed and you want them to stop and look at the image and then what you're talking about in the social media post. Well, that's what Recraft helps you with. On to the next one. Oh, God, how to pronounce this? Lumen 5?
Oh, Lumen 5, yeah.
Yeah. Use this a bit, but more in testing mode.
Me too, actually. I've used this before.
Yeah. It's coming on. You put in the prompt and it just makes a video.
Well, what I like about it, because I have so much long form content, like on my blog, is I can put in a blog URL or a PDF and it'll pull stuff from it, and I can create a short video. It's a text-based video, but it's a short video based on the content from that, and really brand it and everything. That's what I've used it for, which I've appreciated. Obviously, the branding and all that is limited on the free plan. I haven't actually paid any money to use it yet, but it has some interesting features with it for sure.
Yeah, it's got some editing tools now and that, and it starts at $29. And unless you're doing podcasts or you're happy to be in front of the camera, like narcissists like me. And
me. I like being in front of the camera.
I was telling you about being a lady. I wasn't going to say that. But if you're happy to be in front of the camera, and you want to produce video, it's a bit difficult. This tool could help you produce videos that are interesting based on the text you input in it, so you can use it in your social media campaigns. So that's one. Another one I added before the show is Opus Pro. That really helps you. If you've got video content, non-form video content, you put it in and you want it to chop it up into shorts. It's a bit like the last tool that you on your list, which was Descript.
The Descript one, yeah.
but it's designed to take long form video like this podcast and then cut it up into small clips with text, and it does a really good job. And then you can push it out through your social media streams. But obviously you've got to have long form video content for it to cut up.
Right.
That's why I've combined it with Luma 5, because there's people that want to mix up, have a bit of video, but they've got no long form video, or so Luma 5 can help with that. But if you've got some video and you want to cut it up and use it for shorts, Opus Pro is a pretty good product, and it starts at around $15 a month.
Nice. And I will say, like, if you're a little bit hesitant to get on camera, understandable. We're not all camera ready all the time. You're listening to a podcast right now. The human voice is really lovely. So if you wanted to do images with your voice, that's one thing. But just as another little thing that Descript can do is you can make a deep fake of your own voice. If you have about 1 to 2 hours of footage of yourself talking. So if I wanted to, I could type up a script and I could make my fake Nicole voice say it. And this can come in handy. I did a video about this woman once, and I mispronounced her name for the entire video. But I didn't want to obviously go and re-record it, like spend 3 hours re-recording it. So I recorded me saying her name correctly. And then I kind of did a find and replace and fix the pronunciation of her name. And my mouth moved similarly, so it wasn't too off-putting. But yeah.
Yeah, well, listeners of the show, regular listeners, and my other podcast, they're well aware. They just got used to my total inability to pronounce anybody's name, especially the guest's name. It's become a meme in the WordPress community, actually, my inability. So it's become a joke, really, but does it really matter? Right, I'm going to go on to some other tools. Now, if you're looking to help in blogging and that, I mentioned Koala. I think Koalas are really great. There are other tools that can help you with blog writing content. Koala's not the cheapest tool. It's got an essential plan at $9. It's got a starter at $25. If you're going to use it for more than 1 or 2 articles a month, you're probably going to be looking at the Professional or the Boost. The Professional's $49. The Boost is $99. What Koala's got a really nice interface, and you can choose which large language model you're going to be utilizing. I tend to choose Claude, and it can produce photos. They do a little bit janky, but they've improved the quality. They give you standard or premier photo quality. It's based on a token. All these professional writing tools are based on a token system. I've been using it for over a year, and they periodically offer some great special deals where you buy a large group of tokens, and I trust them, and I've bought in, and so I've got it at quite a large discount. Now, if you can't afford those prices for your writing, there's a couple others I've utilised, I think could be worthwhile looking at. Some people say they're better than Koala, but I think all these tools kind of into exchange in how they're seen as effective writing tools. So another one is called SEO Writer. Its interface isn't as polished as Koala. Another one is Agility Writer. That's another one. They are cheaper. I haven't got the prices in front of me, but they, in general, Agility Writer, it's aimed. You don't have to use it this way, and I would strongly advise you not to use it this way. You can put in I don't use these tools in this way. I research the topic, I give it out a detailed outline document, it produces content, I edit it, and then I have a third person come in and edit it again. So they're all checked for facts. I do a lot of prior research. I give it an outline where something like Agility Writer, you can actually import Excel spreadsheet in a spreadsheet into it with, like, say 100 titles, and it will just churn out 100 articles. And there are people that's their mythology. They also have been really hammered by Google. So I don't use these tools that way, and I would advise you not to.
I mean, as someone who gets paid to write
Pardon?
As someone who gets paid to write stuff, I just find it kind of ew personally, but
Right. But we're in this age, so we've got to talk about it, Nicole.
Right, absolutely.
Another tool that I used for to do the transcripts of the podcasts is Happy Scribe. There's a number of these tools out. This was another AppSumo purchase that's worked out for me. I bought enough tokens. The transcription it does is okay. It's not in no way perfect. Depends how much time I will edit it. They do offer the automation transcription, and then they offer a person that will look over it in-house, but that's like $2 per minute, I think. So I just bought the automatic platform, and it covers most of my usage, but there are some months where I have to give them some more money to top up. But you get 50% discount if you bought one of their AppSumo or one of their special offer plans. And I think they've been reasonably fair for me. So if you are doing a fair bit of podcasting and you want a transcript, I think Happy Scribe is a good platform to look at. How are we doing for time? We're getting around. So I think for the last 10 minutes, let's have a general discussion. I think one of the things when it comes to social media, Nicole, that people don't realize is the amount of, if you really want to get something out of a platform, is the amount of volume that you've got to produce.
Yep.
It's a lot more than I think most people realize. And secondly, I think either hiring you and your team to help with that is you utilize these tools that we've talked about to produce the volume, but the real thing you're trying to do is to trigger engagement, is to trigger conversation, and where your time should really be spent on is responding to people's comments or in your social media. But it's the whole volume side. I think people in general just don't. I think just posting once a week or posting a couple of times a day, I just don't think it's going to move things much. What's your whole? Because you've got a lot more knowledge in this area than I do. So what's your whole thing about what I've just said?
I mean, part of our work is that, social media platforms expect video from us as content creators, and they push videos out in the algorithm more. So I have to have at least 2 or 3 videos a week for each client, like short videos. I'm talking like, 60 seconds and under. But even short videos obviously take time to film and edit and, upload and all that. So I would say, I don't know, in terms of an amount of content, like I said, for our clients, we're producing between 2 and 3 videos a week, and probably, 2 and 4 static posts a week to mix in there too. and we're logging in once a day and responding to kind of comments and messages. Obviously, we're dealing with relatively like small businesses, right? So like that's a good amount of volume. Obviously, if it's a bigger company, we do that more often if they have a larger community. We managed something for a pretty big influencer for a little bit, and so we were logging in like 3 times a day for her. So I would say, obviously, like batching, it kind of is what makes it efficient. So like I'll have a day. I actually have 2 days a week where I schedule no meetings, and that's when I can produce content without being interrupted. And I can usually get through, if I have the videos kind of filmed or organized, I can get through, 12 to 20 short videos in that one work day. And yeah, I mean, it's just, one of my coworkers, she's like, it's just taking so long. And we just look at each other. Content takes time. It just takes time. Like, I don't know, obviously we can use these AI tools.
Well, that's
I
why
have one client who says, like I recorded a bunch of videos with her. She said, 24 times in a 60-second video, right? It's noticeable, but she's very comfortable on video and she says it very quickly. So opening up a tool like Descript, searching for and hitting delete, she's not paying. So I'm able now to, instead of spending an hour finding all the and deleting them, I'm able to spend my time making her more high quality content, doing more video and other time intensive work, spending more time on strategy, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I would say that, batch editing the content and using these tools as they make sense, and understanding that there's a learning curve. Like, if you try to go edit a bunch of video, if you say, I like Nicole's idea and I'm going to set aside a day and edit video, if you don't get 10 videos done, that's okay. I've been doing this for 20 years. It's like, give yourself time to like come up with your own process, whatever that is. But yeah, there's going to be a bit of a learning curve with learning this new technology. But at the same time, if you don't learn it and everyone else is using it, you're going to be left behind a bit. So, yeah, anyway. So yeah, I would say that you have to have some video in with your content, and some of these tools we talked about do video work, or at least help you make videos. So
yeah, well,
I would say, yeah,
my position on this is if you're trying to build your own tribe, folks, around your membership website and your community, you've got to have a scheduling tool, and you've got to block off periods of time during the week to produce content.
Yeah.
And intersperse that with responding and maybe one post per day where you're doing it on that day, so you can react to news in your niche area. But you've got to block off some time, like a couple of hours where you can block off to produce the content and then put it in the scheduler. Because it's just the volume. If you don't, you're not going to move the needle unless in building your tribe for your membership to build conversations, unless I would say you really got to triple the amount of content that you think you're going to produce. But if you're not using these AI tools and scheduling time and using a scheduling app to help you schedule it out and utilizing the same content on different platforms through the scheduler, you're going to go bonkers. You're going to have no time, because you're probably in full-time employment, trying to build this as a side hustle to hopefully turn it, maybe in, if you wish to turn it into a full-time gig, or you're in a position where you're just working part-time and you want to build this up. You've got to produce content for your course. You've got to be there to engage with your students. You might be in coaching as well. If you don't do what we've talked about in this episode, either you're going to produce very little content, or you're just going to burn out. You're going to explode. Basically, you're just going to spend all your time making social media content.
Right. And that's why I came up with this trend to send thing, because I was like, I see these short trends. They're like, 15-second videos and under, and I see them trending across these platforms. And my goal is like, I make a video along with the people, And it takes me about 15 minutes to record, edit, and post that video. And it's a trending audio. And I have on the Trend Descent site, I have a way to how to attach the audio. And it basically it allows you to make fun content, but in a really like time conscious way. So that's why I started this service too, is because I was like, okay, like I want people to like have something that's sort of topical and interesting, but also doesn't take a long time to film. So yeah, there's definitely different ways to do it, but there's no getting around that it takes time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, Nico, what's the best way for people to find out more about you, maybe book a chat with you, see if you could help them with their social media strategy and outreach? What's the best ways for people to get hold of you, Nico?
Yeah. So you can visit our agency website, breakingeveninc.com. Or if you want to check out the trend service I was talking about, trendtosend.com. And there's contact forms on both those websites, and those go right to me.
Yeah. And like I say, if you've got any questions, put them in the comments on, because this will be on YouTube, or you can join the Membership Machine Show Facebook group with any questions, and that is a great resource, folks. We will be back next week with either an interview, we're going to be interviewing somebody, or we'll be touching on a topic that will help you be successful with your membership community focused website in 2025. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.